Seriously, I merely don't want this to end in another argument. God willing, the cafe's special will help smoothen things out. After all, it's always been food with her, or money, but mostly food. At this hour, the cafe is usually filled to the brim with people. That's the reason why Isabella and I rarely go here during the evenings. It's simply too much of a hassle when we can prepare food ourselves in the comfort of our homes. And there really isn't much reason to eat out lately. Of all the life, what with life going on, with life going on a busy streak. No time for long lines. Better spend than doing something productive, yes.
Lucky there isn't one tonight.
Only a few people are idling around the counter. Four of them, in fact, a woman in her 60s, a teenager busy with his phone. Both are just waiting to be served their orders. Ah, shit, Luke. The other two, a posh-looking man and a child who I immediately recognized as Kylie, appear to have not yet picked anything they want. For some reason, my stare lingers at the guy. Though dressed relatively well and looks harmless, I haven't seen him around these parts before. Someone new in the neighborhood, perhaps? Even so, there's something familiar in him. It feels like I've seen him somewhere before. That also begs the question, why is Kylie with him? Of course, the girl easily takes a liking to anyone who buys her sweets, so it's both a bit worrisome and unsurprising. The blonde bloke. Okay. The blonde bloke doesn't look particularly thrilled with the company, though. I tear my eyes away from them soon enough once the guy at the counter appears, ready to take my order. And that I'd also hate to be accused of ogling strangers.
2, evening special, takeout.
He's already punching the order before I even finish. Saying my order out loud is really more for formality's sake and made out of habit. He has known Isabella and I long enough that if we ever drop by here, he already knows. It's always because I'm buying dinner for the two of us. I rarely visit here alone if I can handle it. If I can help it. I rarely visit here alone if I can help it. But Isabella can sometimes be a bad influence. He gives me a small smile before leaving to prepare my order, while I fish for my wallet when...
Look, you little ankle biter. If I buy you the biggest parfait they have, will you please behave? I would just like 10 minutes of peace and quiet.
Posh looking man, oh yeah.
You said you'll get me some bread pudding this time.
Yeah, well, darling, they said they ran out of it. Just pick another one so we can be on our way.
Their parfait doesn't look as cute as the one my mom bought me.
Parfait is just ice cream, sweetheart. It'll melt no matter how dainty it appears. In the end, it'll all look like an ugly puddle.
Oh, wow.
Now come on, just pick one. It could even be the most expensive one on that list. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Oh, what I would give for someone to buy you off my hands right now.
What? My whole attention instantly snaps back to them and their conversation. Jumping to conclusions isn't something I'm particularly fond of, especially when all I have are baseless assumptions. But you can't really trust a stranger these days. No one around the cafe seemed to have noticed his words either. Very suspicious words. Still, I don't move yet, but my hands are already shifted from my wallet to the book I'm carrying. A hardbound textbook. Looks harmless, but if a situation calls, it might be a good deadly weapon. Might. I haven't gotten a chance to try it anywhere so far. Today could be the day.
But you promised.
Look, if you don't want a parfait, how about a Bonifay pie? I'm sure it'll taste just as good as any other bread pudding. I'll even buy you the entire tray. How does that sound?
That's not what you said before.
Well, sweetheart, adults change their minds sometimes.
He ain't lying.
You said if I come with you, you'll buy me a bread pudding, and I did. And now you won't keep your promise. I want to go home. I miss my mom.
No, darling, if I remember correctly, and I have a good memory, honey. What I said was, if you come quietly with me, I might buy you one. The quiet part didn't happen. Though now that I'm sober, I think this is a bad idea. I should just ship you someplace else for that peace and quiet.
Well, yo, okay, yeah, okay. This dude's lost it. Nah, bruh. Yeah, no. Oh, that's it. No hesitation. In a few paces, he's within my reach without warning. In a few paces, he's within my reach, and without warning, I'm slamming the flat area of the book against his skull.
Ow!
That's what you get, bro. There's a cry of pain followed by him instantly crouching down, hands nursing the sore spot, almost comically. If this were a different situation and the safety of a St. Goretti student isn't at stake, I'll probably feel sorry for him. I mean, has anyone seen how thick this book
Get
is?
behind me, Kylie.
Miss Pink!
It's amusing how fast her expression changed from a pouty one earlier to something that utterly delight upon seeing me. But there's no time for pleasantries, not even quick ones, because soon the man straightens, and I'm ready my favorite new bound weapon for another hit. Except this time he's ready, and before I can land another one, his hand shoots up to catch my wrist in a firm hold. And the look on his face. Oh, okay.
Bloody hell, woman! What's your problem?
What you mean? To say he's pissed would be an understatement. I had the weak-willed sort. Had I been the weak-willed sort, I'd probably cower under his sharp gaze. But that simply isn't how I roll. If he thinks he can scare me and do as he pleases here, just because I'm a woman or whatever his reasons may be, he's got another thing coming for him. So instead, I return to him the same intensity with the same venom.
What's my problem? You're the one who has a problem here. Rotten bowbags like you don't deserve the freedom to run this town. What are you doing to this girl?
And why is that any of your business, pray tell?
Oh, it's my business if I make it to be. Now, release me or I'll call the police.
Yeah, you don't want the cops to get involved. Now, do you?
You think that scares me, Daisy?
Daisy?
I have a name, you sleazy douchebag.
Oh, I'm sure.
His grip on my hand only tightens when I attempt to shake it off. His tone may be dripping with anger and sarcasm, but the gleam in his eyes says it all. He's getting a kick out of this. Riling people up, getting on their nerves, invading their personal space. He knows exactly what and which buttons to press. The nerve of this person. The nerve of this arsehole. If he thinks I'm going to give in to his goading, please, he might as well just kiss his sorry behind. Hit him where it helps. Shout. I mean, he kind of deserves it for being an asshole to Zach.
Mister, you have until the count of 5 to let me go and step out of my personal space.
A fair warning. Fairer than any I can offer for people of his kind. And I'm already being considerate. Hell, this arsehole doesn't even deserve a warning. If he doesn't listen, he's as much responsible for what will happen next to anyone.
Or else what? Such vulgar words coming out of that pretty mouth. A gorgeous flower like you shouldn't even be saying.
Don't say I didn't warn you, Bobag.
Love that intensity, Daisy. FYI, I like feisty in a woman. It gives them this certain charm.
Yeah, he's an asshole, and I'm willing to admit that.
Why don't you?
5.
A second of silence. Oh, damn. Then without any preamble, my legs move in one fluid motion and deliver a swift, powerful kick to his nether regions. Oh, you kicked him in the nuts. Ouch. Needless to say, that's what you get. Needless to say, the effect is instantaneous. He yelps, abruptly drops hold on me, and kneels over, howling from the pain. I can see tears forming at the corner of his eyes too, although the mere sight of it prompts not an ounce of remorse from me. I would have been gentler if he isn't such a dirty little prick with an ego too big for his head. Too bad. Whether this obliterates any chance of him ever procreating remains to be known. But a part of me is already praying he doesn't ever breed after this. We have no need for more of him in this world.
You mad woman!
How are you gonna call her a mad woman? Like, you were...
I warned you, you ass!
Why this is harassment, I'm telling you! Harassment!
Harass? Bro, you literally grabbed her first.
Then why don't you tell that to the police once they get here,
You despicable! Whatever you're assuming I am, I'll have you know it's all in your head. None of it's true. You best have that pretty brain of yours checked before that gets worse. What is wrong with you? Is this the face of someone who'd do anything suspicious?
Yeah.
Oh? You don't think a stranger luring an innocent child with promises of sweets before whisking them away from their parents doesn't warrant any suspicion? You have a very funny definition of suspicious, asshole. Maybe you're the one who should have that head of yours checked.
The kid asked me to buy her sweets. You're the one who's suspicious here. I'll have you know, I have a wife.
Oh. Aside from you cheating on her, that much at least appears to have a silver of truth to it. He even makes a show brandishing his left hand to my face, with much flourish. Sure enough, a wedding ring is there, though all I earn from him is an unimpressed glare from me. Immediately, a small part of me starts to feel sorry for whatever poor woman married this sod. I don't understand why he has to bring her up either. As if the mention of her alone would magically present a solution to his problem. She must truly be a remarkable woman if she can handle a dirtbag like him.
And even my wife of all people in this bloody city, has never, I'm telling you, accused me of such a scandalous thing! You crazy woman!
Married or not, you're still a sleaze. Honestly, I feel...
Miss Pink, why are you fighting with my teal?
Who? Whatever words still left to be said, here dies on my tongue. The same thing goes for the sleaze. Beside us stand Kylie gawking at us with the same curious stare she often brings with her. I know that look too well. A precocious child through and through. She doesn't say anything further. Her gaze simply moves between us, eyeing us both carefully and clearly anticipating an answer. From my expression, when it gets like this, with children her age, it's a sure sign they won't leave you until you've given them an answer they're satisfied with. Lying won't do either. It has dissolved. A shouting match, for heaven's sake. And she did say Teal. Something falls straight to the pit of my stomach after that. But my tone is gentle when I addressed her, void of apprehension at what might be the first hints of embarrassment. I pointedly ignored the latter. It can be very well just the hunger speaking.
Kylie, sweetie, do you know this oaf?
Yeah, he's Teal Luke.
Right at the moment, my brain stops. Every line of thought, every argument I still have against the man beside me is dissipates in a haze. He's still a scumbag, though. Amidst all of it, one memory gets triggered a few days ago.
Tio? The one you mentioned before? The uncle? The guy Rowan wanted to impress? Or was that a dare? I'm sorry, I can't recall. Is it the one who promised he'll take Big Brother someplace cool?
Yeah, the one and the same. Don't you know who he is?
I sure as hell don't, darling. Because if I do, I wouldn't let everything I said earlier come out of my mouth.
He's my Teal Luke, gazillionaire extraordinaire, and the fairy godfather.
He's your godfather. That's
Yep. And he's a cheater, so.
That's nice.
The one and only. Did I get that right, Tio?
More than right, sweetheart. I'm sure Miss Pink here understood everything you said quite perfectly.
Whatever it is that landed at the bottom of my stomach prior has shot straight up to my face, straight, and stayed there. The heat from it slowly spread it to my cheeks, coloring my face in almost the same shade as my hair. If only the earth would swallow me here and now. His eyes are on me. I can feel them jeering, mocking. I can't even bring myself at him. What's in there? Amusement? I doubt it. He's probably having the time of his life right now. But I know. I can hear the sneer in his tone alone when he talks. He has that smug grin on him, which I may or may not want to punch off his face at the present just for the hell of it. But damage control. I don't care about Luke. Like, I really don't. He's a piece of shit. I really don't give a fuck about this dude. Of course, an apology is the most appropriate thing to say. But no matter how much I will myself to do it, my own body refuses to budge. My own mouth refuses to open. My head rejects the very idea of looking at him. No apology for an asshole or an arsehole. Not for someone with an ego too big for his head. Let his pride suffer. I'm not going to eat my words for the sake of stroking his damn ego. Less reason for him to gloat. Kylie, however,
Don't worry, Kylie. I'm not fighting with your Tio. This is just a discussion. A very serious discussion between a very mature adult and one that's not.
Really? But I've never seen Tio angry before.
It's because he's losing the argument. But don't ever follow his example, Kylie. You should always learn to be patient, even if things aren't going your way, okay?
Oh, sure, a discussion. And it involves hitting random strangers you meet at a cafe with a book.
Be right back. Alright, I'm back. I just had to use the bathroom.
A hard-bound book. Mind you, the little me hasn't recovered yet.
That's a you problem.
My future generation never survives from this. We are going to have more than words, woman!
I don't allow Kylie to hear his tirade and cover both of her ears with my hands. As fond as she is of the man, there are words he shouldn't be saying in front of a child. How can he not know about that? More importantly, how on earth did someone like him become a godfather? Who allowed it? Maybe I should talk to Mrs. Suarez about it. Warn her how he's not a good influence on her child.
Language! How can you use such crude words in front of her? Your goddaughter can hear you, for heaven's sake.
Oh, and you didn't. If I remember everything correctly, you called me a rotten beau.
So you're going to repeat it in front of her, just to make a point? What, are you 5? Even 5-year-olds are more sensible than you.
Even Isabella, and I can say that with much certainty.
Even 5-year-olds are more sensible than you.
See what I mean?
Are you fighting again?
Oh, no. Like I said, we were just having a discussion. We're actually done now. But you need to promise Miss Pink you will never grow up like this guy. Good kids don't do what he's doing.
Facts.
But I like Tio.
And I'm quite sure Tio likes you too. But liking people is different. Just because you like him doesn't mean you have to be like him.
That is a good point.
There are better role models for you aside from him.
Like you?
Not exactly what I'm trying to get at, but if that's what you want, I don't see why not.
Okay, I want to be like Miss Pink someday. I want to be a teacher. And I promise I won't be like Tio, even if he's a gazillionaire.
Wow, turning my own goddaughter against me.
I mean, the things that you've done and said prove what type of person you are, so yeah.
How mature of you, Miss Pink.
His tone makes me pause. For the first time since this talk started, I look at him. Briefly, something flashes behind his eyes. Something close to what might be an expectation following. Dismay? I can't be sure. It passes almost as soon as it appears. What's that about? Does he actually like having Kylie around? It doesn't seem like it from the get-go, but with that fond smile on him, it isn't anything to judge by then maybe.
Don't worry, Tio. If you buy me bread pudding tonight, I'll like you again.
Aw, if that's all it takes, consider it done, sweetheart. We might have to find another place to buy it from, though. Somewhere safe, where a random crazy woman isn't going to attack us out of the blue. Let's go.
Okay, bye, Miss Pink. I still like you, just not more than Tio anymore. See you.
Kylie's already pulling him to the cafe's exit before I can protest against it on it. Although it's not like there's anything to object on further. I may view that man, Luke, as someone hateful, maybe to the point of seeing him as an eyesore, but I don't think that'll have any bearing on what the child thinks of him. When you think about it, if she admires him so much like that, then maybe there's still something agreeable in him. A part of him only Kylie sees. He still has the gall to wink at me before they both disappear behind the door, so maybe not. However, there's no moment to ponder about it. Seconds later, the guy at the counter waves me over and hands me a paper bag as soon as I've paid. He offers me another smile before I leave. Normally, I return it simply for the sake of returning it, or I don't at all, with the latter happening more commonly. For the time being, I do so freely. After that encounter and the scene we've caused, seeing a friendly gesture being extended to me, albeit from a person I barely know on a personal level, it feels like reassurance, despite bearing no promise of better days. I take what little I can of it with me as I step out into the night. Oh, a cloudless night greets me when I walk out of the cafe. Beyond the tall buildings, a blanket of stars, spread out before me. Isabella once told me that the best place to view it is someplace outside the city, away from the noise and obtrusive lights. She's seen it once in her mom's hometown, another time in the university she used to attend. Then she asked if it's possible to try it out sometime. I agreed with her at the time, if only because she appeared excited and the mere prospect of it. We made those little plans along with Zachary and Ashton. Though up until now, we never got around it. Even so, I find myself enjoying this, despite being told it's only half the experience. Little things, you know. Stuff you learn to appreciate when you're alone. Because at certain times you get to meet people and who are unfortunately born with the innate talent to ruin the mood and the scene with their mere existence alone. For example, the driver of the car fast approaching my direction. Luckily, he didn't notice me. But with the fleeting moment we pass each other by, gives me a brief glance of the people he's with. Oh shit! Kylie's sitting on the backseat with a serving bread pudding in her hand, and besides him, must be his wife. He takes a turn and disappears at the nearest corner. But throughout the night, the cruisery glimpse of all things that to bother me has left me wondering what kind of person his wife is. And more than that is a silent prayer to the universe. I hope I don't ever cross paths with that douche again. After having such an eventful day, anyone will think nothing will surprise me anymore. But here I am, standing at the top of the stairwell, watching an odd scene unfold before me. Relief crosses my mind first, followed by confusion.
What is she doing there?
Although, given what happened this morning, the question feels a bit inappropriate to ask directly. What's important is Isabella is here. She's sitting cross-legged on the hallway, just right in front of her room, with several papers and folders scattered around. Each of them seems important as the next. More than once, upon giving the scene a quick scan, I spotted Briar Realty's logo at the topmost of the pages. Everything considered, it looks like a mess made by a third grader working on a crunch working on crunch time. The landlady will have a few things to say about this when she finds out. I have a few things to say about this myself, in fact. But something in the calm, focused nature she holds herself at the present keeps me from disturbing her with that reminder. She's going through the papers. She's going through each paper with intensity. Her brows are furrowed, her lips in a tight line, both hands moving in precise movements as she shifts through each sheet. When she finds something of note, she moves closer, nose almost touching whatever paper she's holding, and grabs her phone to call someone.
Hello. Sorry to call you this late. There's something I just want to confirm, if that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Thanks anyway. Not that one either.
It's a cycle. She goes through call after call, then after the last one ends, she shuffles through the pile again and dials another number. Does it work? Is it work? I've never seen her this engrossed with her own work before. Otherwise, she would have noticed my presence the moment I reached our floor. After the ninth call, she appears as oblivious to it as when I arrived. When she lets out a loud sigh this time, I immediately take that as an opportunity to interrupt.
Isabella, you know the house rules here.
At once, her head jerks back and hits the concrete wall behind her with a thump. There's the Isabella I know. There's the Isabella I know. Glad it's still there. I allow her a moment to nurse it before speaking again.
Becca, you're late.
Yeah, I ran into a little trouble at the cafe. But I brought food for the two of us, if you haven't eaten anything yet.
As anticipated, she grins once I raise the bag of food I'm holding. I mean, I think I know how she feels. Yet it doesn't reach her eyes. There's nothing cheerful glint in it this time. Just a hollow tone for the sake of being polite. Ashton's right. Something's happened.
Yeah, maybe later. I've got to finish this first. Just leave it here. I'll eat it once I'm done. Thanks, Becca.
You can't eat this here. You know how the landlady would react. Why are you even working outside? Your room's right there.
Exactly.
I know. Sorry. It just feels stuffy in my apartment right now.
Yeah, we noticed.
I'll go back inside once everything's been aired out. I promise.
That has never bothered you before.
Well, it bothers me now.
Oh, really? Just now? I find that hard to believe.
Yeah? Shouldn't you be happy? I mean, you've been complaining even if it's not your room. Now I know how you're feeling when it's messy, so I'm going to clean. Isn't that a good thing?
In spite of what's supposed to be good news, an exhale comes from me, drawn out and slow.
It's a good thing, Isabella. Believe me. But you're as bad as Zachary at lying. What's really going on?
She hastily averts her eyes, a surefire indicator that this is going to be one of those lengthening conversations that possibly could end up with the other person angry again. It's one thing I'd like to avoid tonight at all costs. Still, I've made a promise to Ashton and Zachary. If she didn't have to talk to them, who else is she going to talk to? If she keeps this all to herself, who knows what might happen?
Isabella, you can tell me. Is it about your family?
No. A slight movement of her lips. Although it's a frown, it's a reaction at least. I'm getting there.
Rose?
She merely shakes her head. Just a little more.
Come on, I know something happened. I don't know if it's because of Rose, but I know it's related to her somehow.
Yeah.
You weren't here when I visited this morning, and both Zachary and Ashton are worried about you. If you don't want to tell them, you can tell me. Does it have something to do with work? Office?
If I didn't know her, I might have missed it. She shifts her head, her fists clenching up tight and teeth biting. I'm gonna play this for 2 more minutes and then I'm just gonna take a nap. And there's fear. The look of terror in her is the last thing I expected to see out of everything. Her mouth trembles briefly before she opens them. When she finally voices it out, the words simply spill out of her mouth, one after another, all of it. True to what I promised her, I listened. I listened because this is something she's been keeping to herself, even from the two most dependable people I know. The fact that she chooses to tell me speaks a lot to me.
Becca, she was there again. Last night? In the office? Boss passed me all of Rose's Lork load yesterday. For the Ermengarde mansion. I had to stay late to finish them all. And then, when I was about to go home, I saw her. I saw her again. She was standing in front of me again last night, Becca. I couldn't get away. She was blocking the door. If I hadn't hidden myself, even if I made the tiniest noise, if she found me. Becca, she almost did. If she saw me under my table, I think that would have been the end of it. I'm scared. I'm so scared I won't be able to do anything.
By the end, her hands are trembling, and her breathing comes out in raspy intervals. For a long moment, I let the silence stretch out between us and let her sobs fill it instead. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a day. I'm not gonna call it a day, but I am gonna take a nap and take a break. So I will be back and I'll play this again. So stay tuned.